Here is New Defenders 148. The next chapter in the Cutlass and Typhoon adventures. Thankfully, it is also the last chapter. Cutlass and Typhoon are two new characters Peter Gilbert introduced in this book, and they are insanely detestable. They are meant to be comedy characters, but they are painfully unfunny. They are a detective duo. They are exclusively played for laughs, and they are like nails on a chalkboard. I think comic book readers take for granted the fact that they didn't have any longevity outside of 2 issues of this series. I didn't like the New Defenders. I've made me points in other videos. I didn't like that it relegated the Defenders characters to support for the out-of-work excellent men ones. And I didn't like that over half of the Defenders team was retired to make way for them. This issue, in other circumstances, would be great because we are catching up with 2 of those retired characters. Satan's Son and Kate Leff, aka the Cat. That is a good proposition for me. I liked those characters in the Defenders. And between them being written out and this issue, they hadn't appeared elsewhere. So catching up with them is essential. And the only 2 members of the New Defenders present are Etrigan the Demon and the Smurf. So in some ways it feels like it could be a Defenders issue from before the New Defenders, but it quickly turns to shit when this Burke comes crashing through a window. It is Cutlass. The premise is he is an odd-timey private investigator, and he is an odd-timey sexist man, and his female secretary, Typhoon, who is vaguely oriental, she does all the work, all the fighting, all the solving things, and he takes credit for it. And they are meant to be wacky, larger-than-life characters. We have some awful, awful comedy here with a grenade. And also, Groucho Marx is a character in this comic. Bringing in Satan's Son and the Cat, it seems to only have been a consideration because Peter Gilbert wanted to bring in Groucho Marx, who was driving the taxi that delivered them to the plot. And here is Typhoon, and I'm not even bothering to talk about the plot because it is shit. And it is stuff that is happening just to allow Peter Gilbert to write Cutlass and Typhoon again. And any excuse to write Cutlass and Typhoon is unacceptable. It is like the first issue with them. It is a boring street mystery crime caper. This is deeply unpleasant reading. These characters and this issue and everything else about it are so annoying. It is an unfunny writer trying to be funny and wasting everyone's time with these abhorrent wankers. I think Peter Gilbert, he would defend Cutlass and Typhoon by saying that they are a parody, that they are lampooning some pulp characters or some pulp cliches. But when it comes to parody, I think there are two criteria. Is it funny? No, this isn't funny. This is deeply unamusing. I didn't think that anyone would like these forced, lame gags. So it's failed that criteria. And the other is it smart? Is it a clever appropriation of the source material? And no, it isn't. This is unbearable. Typhoon, she only speaks to offer exposition. And I think that is good, because otherwise I can see her being written with her L's replaced with R's and saying shite like, may love you long time, and garbage like that. The poor defenders, they are just along for the ride again. They occasionally do something like Etrigan the Demon here, but they are doing it because Cutlass and Typhoon cannot fire energy from their hands to bring down a helicopter. I didn't think I'm doing Cutlass and Typhoon justice. They have to be read to be believed. They are unendurable. He speaks like he stepped out of a shit 50s film. She just explains the plot. He calls women broads and then falls over. And she can seemingly do just about anything when it comes to action. John Buscema, Sal Buscema's brother, he had to draw this nonsense, and I feel sorry for him. But I have got to think about the silver lining, that Cutlass and Typhoon never appeared again. After this issue, they were never mentioned once more. They had taken the spotlight in two separate issues of the Defenders, and that was all we had to deal with. Peter Gilbert, he was likely hoping that the book would get letters by the dozen requesting to see Cutlass and Typhoon again, and there never is one such letter throughout his entire run. I momentarily forgot Groucho Marx is in this too. Fuck's sake, I think this is worse than the first Cutlass and Typhoon issue. This is bad shit trying to be whimsical fun. I seriously do contend that Cutlass and Typhoon are two of the worst characters to ever grace an American comic book. It is Peter Gilbert trying to be zany, like some of the past runs on the Defenders have been, and he is incapable of it, but he really thinks he has nailed it with Cutlass and Typhoon. After last time, when I knocked me camera, I came to realise it would be much easier for me and everyone watching if I edit and use cuts for these. The real reason for that is because you didn't get to see how much I struggled to tear into it. I hate this comic, New Defenders 148. Both the issues with Cutlass and Typhoon are unreadable, and they deserve being ripped to shreds because the world is a better place with one less copy of their exploits out there. I rate this issue 7 thumbs up.